What does it take to create a vibrant, thriving life? First, the sad news is that Thoreau was right. Most people are leading quiet lives of desperation, lacking in meaning, fulfillment, and vitality. But we choose more. We choose to create extraordinary lives. And the Art of Vibrant Living show entertains you with inspiration, empowerment, and education to create your life into a masterpiece. It's time. Let's vibe up. Aloha, y'all. Welcome to the show. I am Daniel Aaron. I'm the author of The Art of Spiritual Leadership, 40 Laws to Transform Your Life and the World. And this show, The Art of Vibrant Living, is all about empowering you to, yes, transform yourself, and yes, make the world even more beautiful. I'm excited that you're here, delighted for the show that we got today. So let's just go right into it. My guest, Dr. Laleh Talebian, is a former research scientist who has turned her focus to real-world healing, especially for high achievers, and to get to the root of what's wrong. And she's got a very precision-based approach to nutritional medicine. Right? So it's a blend of science, compassion, real-world healing to empower you or people that you know and reclaim your energy, clarity, and health sovereignty. I am so excited and delighted that you are here. Dr. Laleh, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Well, awesome. You're welcome. And let's jump into one piece. You've got an amazing story. There's so many components to what brought you to doing the phenomenal work that you're doing now. Let's zero in on one part right now, though. Start with research, science, academia, not that anymore, different focus now. What's up with that? How come? Why? How'd that happen?
Well, I lost my dad to cancer. He actually died on my 15th birthday, and that's why I decided to become a scientist to cure cancer. But after many years of doing clinical research and clinical trials with cancer patients, one thing that was nagging at me was that that image of my dad I had was not the image of him being strong and healthy, the dad I had for, at least 13, 14 years of my life before he got sick. But it was his final days on that bed when he was barely 100 pounds and he was completely destroyed and deteriorated as a result of chemotherapy and radiation. When I was doing my work, I kept seeing this and realizing that most cancer patients die not of their cancer, but of organ failure and basically body failing due to toxic therapy. And I just couldn't live with that. And I tried to figure out a way to put my passion into my research, but I kept hitting the wall and couldn't quite do what I wanted to do, was to help people not be sick to begin with, or really helping their bodies heal themselves. And so after, years of being at odds and having conflicts, I finally decided that I need to find a better way to help. I knew I had a better way. I just needed to make it happen. So I still am a scientist at heart, I think, and like a scientist, I problem solve and I put the pieces of the puzzle together, but I am free to help people the way that's really meaningful to me. And I can live with the work that I do and be happy and sleep at night.
Oh, beautiful. Well, and a part of what I heard in what you described is you realized that the system within which you were operating didn't give you the ability to bring forward what you knew you had inside you that could make a bigger difference, right?
Yeah.
And on your 15th birthday, you said, like, holy moly,
Yeah.
that's no accident on some level. That's intense. And I love your adolescent passion to say, like, I don't want other people to go through this. I don't want other people to lose their daughters. I don't want daughters to lose their fathers. I'm going to cure cancer. No, no small feat. I love it. That's beautiful. And last thing I'll say about this, then I have a question for you to get to what you said. What you described about that last image of your father, 100 pounds shrinking away. The image that came to me as you were describing the common approach to cancer is it's like if we find ourselves in a hole, the first good advice is stop digging, right? Stop digging and getting deeper in the hole. And with cancer, the common wisdom for treatment, right? And I'm not a doctor. I'm not telling anybody what to do or not to do, right? People need to make their own sovereign choices about their health. What we tend to do and what a lot of us have believed, the thing is not just keep digging, it's actually get a, atomic bomb and blow the hole 1,000 times bigger. But it's clearly the wrong direction. So what's going on with, does that make sense as a sort of a weird metaphor? And what do you think is going on? And yeah, what can you say about that?
That's a great question. So I'm not, obviously I'm a scientist, and we have made a lot of progress in what we have learned, and we are learning. It's valuable. Absolutely. You can't put a price on it. What is wrong with the system is that more than 85% of all chronic conditions, including cancer, are either preventable or reversible or manageable with what you eat, how you move and treat your body, and how you think. That's very important. So, but that is not what the science alone is doing. Is basically we are waiting, at least in our healthcare system, is that we're waiting for people to get sick, and then we're trying to fix it. And when we try to fix it, it's not a holistic way. It's based on statistics and based on studies, which I've done. I did clinical research. But what is missing a lot of times is people are not statistic. We use statistics in science to draw conclusions about certain things that we learn, which is valuable. But when it comes to you as a person, you are not a statistic, and you should not be treated as such. There are certain things that apply, but it doesn't mean that you are just in a bunch of the statistical data. And that's a big, big part of it. And another thing is people oftentimes feel like they only have one choice or limited choices. I'm not against the conventional therapy altogether, but I want people to have all the knowledge and all the information that they can make their decision confidently and be completely happy about that decision. Because oftentimes that is not the case. I help people, for example, who are diagnosed with cancer, who decide to go completely the conventional route, and I help them understand the language. I help them decipher the code, and so that they can really understand what they're getting into. And if they're good with that decision, that's good, because if you're happy and you feel that that's going to help you heal, that will work. On the other hand, if you are making a decision based on what you think, okay, that's what everybody does, or that's what the statistics say, but really doesn't sit well, I always tell my clients, if you truly in your heart don't believe that this treatment is going to heal you, it most likely will not. Because your mind has a huge power on how your body actually responds to anything. So if you're in fear, if you're unsure that something is going to work, it most likely will not work the best way it should. On the other hand, if people decide to go completely the alternative route, I'm in support of that too. My biggest thing is you as a person need to have the confidence and the clarity to make that decision for yourself and be happy and satisfied with that and not feel pressured. So that sort of answers part of your question. But the bigger picture is that really we don't have to have all of these diseases, chronic conditions, including cancer, but it has a lot to do with how our planet, how our lifestyle, how our food, and our way of thinking has changed. We have a disease focused culture, unfortunately. And when you go to a doctor, you are treated as your symptom, not as a person who has a challenge. And that makes a huge difference in people's lives because they focus on their symptom. And when you focus on something, that's what you attract more of, right? Law of
Yeah.
attraction. Simple. Yeah.
Well, okay, cool. Thank you. I'm with you on all of that, and I appreciate that you're bringing forward, like, we've made some incredible progress through science, through medicine, and let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater. Part of what is lost, though, is the individuality, and I would say even the sovereignty of it, because a lot of people just sort of abdicate their own power and responsibility to some authority out there or statistics, or as you said,
Right.
that's just what they say you're supposed to do. And I've heard you speak about precision, use the word precision and precise when it comes to health. Will you say more about that? Why that word? Because that's not a word we always hear in the health world.
Yeah, you don't. And thank you for asking that. So, as a cancer researcher, um, I used in my work the cancer markers. There are cancer markers or disease markers in general. And then we used those disease markers to target them through pharmaceutical, intervention and therapy, right? So drug therapy.
Hmm.
What I found was that obviously all pharmaceutical drugs, all medications, all of them have a side effect
Hmm.
because they are not something natural for the body, right? We do target those disease markers, but there are always all these long term effects and obviously other things. So, what I started doing, using the same method and thinking process, and developed a system where we use the disease markers, say, for example, cancer markers, and instead of targeting them with synthetic drugs, we target them with precision food
Hmm.
because there are so many healing powers in all the food, real food that we consume.
Hmm.
Now, precision comes into play where we're looking at the individual. Like I said, you're not a statistic because every person is unique. There is only one of you in this world, and there will only be one of you in this world, right? So when we look at the person, we really look at everything that makes that person unique, their genetic markers, their disease markers, their biology, their epigenetics, and everything that makes a person unique. And then we target those markers with food that is made for them.
Hmm.
So healthy food, great, but some things may be healthy for me and not be healthy for you. So that is where the precision comes in. So we
Hmm.
took the pharmaceutical drug out of the equation and we target the same markers with food prescriptions. So that's kind of how it works.
I love it. Well, the two quotations come to mind for me. One, of course, I'm sure you're well aware of, Hippocrates saying, "Let your food be your medicine, and your medicine be your food." And then another one, which is from Lazarus: "If we can hear the whispers, we don't need to hear the screams." So, what I hear you saying, in some way, you didn't use these words, so tell me if this feels accurate, but take the symptoms, take the markers, take a look at what's gone off track, and then use that to retune using the natural world and natural medicine. Is that something along the
Very,
lines of what you're
very,
saying?
very accurate. Yeah, simply put is think about the symptoms or things you feel as I like to call it an engine light in a car, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you have your engine light go off in a car and you can put a duct tape on it so you don't see it, right? But would that go away? No, eventually other parts start breaking and your car is going to start screaming at you or break down, not work, right? Now our bodies are much more sophisticated, luckily. But it's kind of like that. If we have symptoms, is your body's way of telling you, hey, something isn't right here. Pay attention to me. Let's figure out. But until we figure out what's caused that problem, where the issue is, we can't eliminate it and we can't get rid of it, so we can't heal. But your body has natural abilities to heal itself if we give it the right environment, the right tools, the right fuel, and everything that it needs really to heal itself. Like you said,
Mm,
let food
mm.
be my medicine and medicine be my food. There is another saying, you probably are familiar with this, is when there is, um, gosh, now I'm blanking. I'm going to make mess this up. But it has to do with uh, if there is medicine. Let me come back to that, because I'm just going back to it. It's an Ayurvedic, saying. Um, so anyway, I get back to that. Sorry, I just blanked out on
Yeah.
that. But in short, is when your body has the ability and the opportunity and the tools and the environment to heal itself, it will. It can do that. But those are big ifs, which we don't often provide our bodies in our modern lifestyle, right?
Well, and
So,
part of what you're saying, I'm going to highlight here, and again, tell me if this feels accurate to what you're saying. The underlying premise of that is we are a self-healing organism, right? Our nature is that we will heal, right? If I
right.
bump my head on the wall, it's going to hurt and maybe there'll be a bruise, and that's part of the
Mhm.
system saying, "Okay, we know how to take care of this if we give
Exactly.
it what it needs to do that." Yeah? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Uh,
So, let me ask you this then. I am still astounded, and of course, I also understand completely. It's just the way it is. But how many people believe, and I don't mean this to be insulting to anybody, but how many people believe that, oh, there's a flu out there, or there's a germ over there, and oh, I caught it, and it hit me, and now I'm down. Like, that's not been my reality since I moved out of my parents' home when I was 18 and learned, like, oh wait, I can be responsible for myself. I can create my health. Does this make sense to you? Why are so many people still not taking the power that's there for them?
I think part of it is a lot of fear
Mm,
created in our minds, and then a lot of it also is misinformation, not knowing.
mm, mm,
You know how much information is out there, but it's really, is it accurate, right? And again, thinking back to our body's natural abilities to heal. Yes, there are viruses around. We are surrounded by microorganisms all the time. We all have cancer cells in our bodies all the time, right? The key thing is, how is your immune system empowered or equipped to ward off those things that is coming your way all the time, in the air we breathe, in all the contacts we have, whatever you touch, they're there. It's
mm,
just part of the universe, right? But um, does your body have the tools that it needs to actually defend itself,
mm,
right? In one way I explain this, which is kind of a fun way to think about it, is think about your immune system cells as your soldiers in a battlefield, right? Front line of the battlefield, right? And they're supposed to be defending our bodies from invaders and enemies, disease, and serious things. Now, if we have stuff going on in the background where it's not necessarily shouldn't be there. They're distraction for the soldiers. Like, we have messes for them to come and clean up. We spill something, and these soldiers who are basically trained to be fighting for us in the front line of the battlefield, now they have to come back here and clean up a mess.
mm,
Guess what? You have fewer soldiers defending you against the enemy, and you have all these distractions going on back here. So the whole system is kind of out of balance, right? Not the way it should be. So by distractions of the immune system, I mean things we have absolute control over that we introduce into our lives that distract our immune system from the most important things, such as fighting those little cancer cells that we all have, nip it at the butt and getting rid of it right away so it doesn't have a chance to grow. Now,
Mm,
if we have these soldiers pulled away to clean up a mess in the background, well, nobody's there to catch that cancer cell, and that cancer cell is going to say, woohoo, I'm going to take advantage of this environment and grow. And that's what they do. And
mm,
that's with other things too. And the fear comes into play because if you are constantly worried and in fear
mm,
of getting sick with viruses and things like that, guess what? You are going to. You will, right? And your mind has a huge power that it plays. You have heard of neuroplasticity. We can rewire our brain to think in a different way, and whether it be viruses and other things. And we've also become so we want to kill everything. How many people do you know? Or like, oh, the disinfectant in our hands, and we have to kill everything. No, we don't. The mouthwash that has to kill all the bacteria in your body. No, there's actually good bacteria you're killing. Guess what? Most of the time when you're killing 99% of the bacteria, the most awful, harmful things are the ones that are staying alive. You're
mm,
killing the good ones, right?
mm,
And it's become a culture of life. Let's kill everything. And like all of that has become just a part of the culture that actually promotes sickness,
mm.
right? Uh, you remember during COVID, everyone was wearing masks. Well, I agree with the fact that, okay, if you're sick, keep your distance. It's with cold too. It's anything that's contagious. No brainer, right? But for those period of months or years that everyone was wearing masks, still people are. Guess what happened? Your immune system became so much weaker because you are used to being exposed to these things that are around you and constantly fighting, right? And getting rid of them. Now you are blocking that. And then, well, you're not allowing your immune system to kind of be used to doing this, be resilient. And afterwards, guess what happened? People, children or adults, were getting sick more often with things that they were probably immune to before, but this covering for so long actually compromised people's immune system. That goes with other things too. I'm not saying go and spread your germs everywhere. It's common sense. You're sick, well, yeah, keep your distance from other people. Simple, right? But you don't have to live in fear, that, oh, everything is out there to get me. And if you're confident in your immune system because of the choices you make, because of the way you live your life, most likely you will get sick just as often as normal people should, not often, you know, even in a cold or something, I don't know how often I get a cold. I don't remember, you know, but whether I'm on a plane or, in a crowded place, and bounds to happen, the case. But I think that's basically what we're going through as a culture in general. It's just the fear and lack of knowledge and not really understanding what is the root cause of all these things, and really not appreciating our bodies, natural abilities to actually do a lot on their own. They really can.
Yeah, well said. Thank you. Okay. Well, that opens up so many different possibilities for us, and I'm aware that time is moving along. I'm sure there are going to be some people that are listening or watching live or on the replay who say, "Ooh, I want to work with Dr. Laleh and and get some precision information and experience about me personally," and that's going to be there's more demand than you can handle. Let's put it that way. So, if you were to have one message to bring forward to people that really like they're understanding what we're talking about, or they're getting a sense of it, and that they're ready to to shift who they are and create a different level of health. What would you say is like the single most important thing, or the one of the most useful things that people can change now?
Um, One single most important thing, I think it's might surprise most of your listeners or viewers, is really your mindset.
Mm,
Um, because, like I said, if we focus on a problem, we become an expert in the problem. if we focus on pain, just really, truly, your body does that response. You're going to feel pain.
Hmm.
If you focus on disease, that's what's going to happen. If you focus on um, things you believe or you say to yourself that I can't,
Hmm.
you're not going to be able to. You know the famous saying, whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, you are correct.
Yeah.
So what I think is most important at a 30,000 feet bird's eye view is change your mindset about your health and your life,
Hmm.
and know that you are in 100% control of your body,
Hmm.
what you put into it, and how you treat it. No one can force you to eat something, at least not legally. No one can make you do things to your body that you don't want to do. The most important thing is treat your body, and I always say you are the most important person in your life, and your health is your most valuable asset. So, guess what? You have to invest in yourself, and you have to value yourself, and you have to focus on how you want to feel and how you want your life to be, rather than focusing on I am sick, or I have pain, or I have this or that and the other thing. And that is the bigger picture kind of. That's what I think is really important, because even if you try to exercise and eat well and do all the things, might be fine, but if you really in your mind you don't believe you can, you don't believe you have control, you don't. And that's very important to think about, changing the way you think about health, about your body, about your life, and focusing on all the things you want to have, how you want to feel, and how you want to show up every day, how you want to
Hmm.
wake up, not not the things that you don't want or you're not enjoying, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. And I love it. The mindset is so important for every aspect of life. Personally, when someone comes up to me and says, "Oh, you don't want to shake my hand or hug because I'm sick," I'm not telling other people to do this, but I say, "No, it's fine. My immune system is rock solid." Right? And so I cultivate that belief for myself. I don't ever get sick. And that's, I believe, largely because I tell myself that I don't. Right? In any
Right.
case,
And you believe in yourself. Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. Well said.
so Dr. Laleh, as time is flying along, what is the best way for people to learn more about you, what you're up to inquire about the possibility of working with you?
Oh, the best way is actually go to my website and check out, learn about me. I love to offer workshops, whether they are topic specific or just in general. Book me to speak. It's for free. I don't ask you to pay me to speak, because I want to share what I know with as many
Hmm.
people as possible. I want to add value to your life. If you want to, host a particular workshop, you can see that. There's on my website, Book Me to Speak. You can totally fill out a form and do that. And you can always reach out if you want to schedule a consult, or you can email me even on the website. Get on the newsletter, because I send about 3 weekly wellness emails, we call it, and I promise you, it's not scam. There's always a value information, something related to health, and there are recipes. So everyone loves recipes. So those are the ways. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook. You can connect there. Yeah, good old fashioned ways. Any way that fits your lifestyle and fits your wishes. That's fine with me. I'm very available, very approachable, and I love to spread my word and help as many people as I can.
That's beautiful. I love it. Well, I love your example of, and we've only touched on a little bit, but how much you've overcome in your own life, and how clearly dedicated you are to health and learning and going beyond the limitations that might be imposed by systems or society, and being really effective and making a big difference. And I can feel that from you. It's been super educational here. Let me ask you, last question. It's the big question, so big that it's impossible to answer. And I say all that because you've got so much experience. I mean, from the academic medical side of things, and you have so much experience outside of that also. If you were to boil it all down and distill it into one thing, if you had one thing to share with our audience to help them live their most vibrant, thriving life, what's that one thing?
I would say, again, I will repeat that. You are the most important person in your life, because no matter who you love and who you care about and who you care for, if you're not healthy and well tomorrow, it doesn't matter. So you have to be selfish in order to be selfless, if that makes sense. You have to take care of yourself first, and your health is most important thing. You can have all the money in the world. You can have everything that you want in front of you, right within reach. But if your health is not good, it really doesn't matter as much. So I want to say that treat your health as literally the most valuable asset you have, and invest in your health more than you invest in anything. If you had a Lamborghini and I told you, go put some salt in it for fun every once, like once a month, you would think I am out of my mind, right? And if they told you put a gas in there that is $20 a gallon and the oil is $80 a quart, you will do it, no questions asked. Now you can wreck that Lamborghini and you can rent one, you can borrow one, you can buy another one. Your body is your only one. You can't rent one, you can't borrow one, you can't buy another one. So guess what? Can you treat your body better than your car? Yes, you can. And you should.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. So it's a step beyond let your food be your medicine. It's let your food be your investment in the superhero that you are. So I love
your superpower.
Superpower,
Right.
yeah. Well, Dr. Laleh, thank you so much for being with us. I really appreciate it. And and thanks for all the work that you're doing in the world as well.
Thank you, of course. Thank you for having me here. It's an honor.
You're welcome.
Mahalo for tuning in to the Art of Vibrance.
Hey, wait, I didn't say goodbye. Come back. Y'all in our audience, thank you for being here, because you really are the heroes. You're the reason we do this. And I hope that you take on some of what Dr. Laleh said, and it shifts some cells in your brain, and you say, I am a superhero. I control my own fate, my destiny, my health. Thank you for being with us. See you soon. Aloha.
Mahalo for tuning in to the Art of Vibrant Living show, y'all. I'm Daniel Aaron, and may you live with great vibrancy.